Hey, what's up, Raider Nation? Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the games, over the weekend, playoff games. Happy Martin Luther King Day. I hope you're, at home, relaxing, kicking back if you have the day off, or celebrating. And if you're working, I hope you're getting overtime, double overtime for it, making that money. So thank you, Raider Nation. So let's start. The Raiders are interviewing Mike McDaniels today, um, recently fired head coach for the Miami Dolphins. The whole squad's going to be in Miami tonight to watch Indiana and Miami, the national championship game. So Mark Davis will be there. Spy Tech Brady. So since they're in Miami, might as well interview Mike McDaniel's there. I hope that they could also see like what McDaniel's thoughts are of him possibly being an OC for us rather than a head coach if the fit is right. If they're happy with the head coach that we pick up or the DC. Time will tell. But that's going on today, and I'm really excited for the game. It's Fernando Mendoza is going to be able to showcase what he does um, against the Miami Hurricanes, right? They're a pretty solid team too. We're gonna see super senior Georgia alumni, Carson Beck. I don't even know how that's legal. How Carson Beck's, still a quarterback in college. After he graduated like 2 years ago, right? But there's always something shady going on, with NCAA. But this is a big opportunity for Carson Beck as well, um, because it's not a strong quarterback draft. So I mean, who knows? He could go number two possibly. I mentioned that in previous shows. So, I mean, if he puts on a show, right? I mean, I'm assuming that Indiana is just going to lay the smackdown on Miami, but who knows? I mentioned Carson Beck is a super senior, so he might, they might have a little trick up their sleeve. Very unlikely. I think Mendoza is just going to tear it up. But I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to hearing about how the interview goes. Are we going to hear about requests for another interview after this one today? Um, so stay tuned with that. Bo Nix beats the Bills. I was wrong there. I took the Bills to beat Denver. Um, and now, we find out after the game, Bo Nix is out, out for the season. Well, for the rest of this season, maybe next season, who knows, or beginning of next season with a broken ankle. Um, Former Raider Jared Stidham will start. The last time he took a snap was 2023. So, um, it's funny because Broncos news was like popping up on my Instagram feed, like, and, with headlines like, oh, should we sign Philip Rivers or Cam Newton? I mean, the Donkeys are in full panic mode. I never like to see, even though it's, the Broncos, I never like to see guys get injured. When we face these guys, I want to see the best go up against the best. And first and foremost, I love football. So I always want to see the best out there competing. So as much as I will be happy for the Broncos to not go to the Super Bowl, right? Because I just think the Patriots are going to put it on them, especially because they don't have the quarterback. I never like to see, guys hurt. The reason being is because a guy is out and injured. We don't want to see that. We want to watch good games, right? It would be nice to see the young quarterbacks go against each other, Drake May, Bo Nix. But we aren't going to see that now. We're going to see Jared Stidham, and I don't know what he has. We've seen so little of him, right? He had that great game against the Niners in Vegas a couple years back, but and that's McDaniel's boy too, right? So, I'm sure he knows. He has some intel on Jared Stidham. Kevin Stefanski, good signing for Atlanta. He signs with the Falcons. Atlanta moved really fast, right? That could be a good thing or a bad thing. Um, right after announcing that they hired, Harbaugh not too long ago. They interview with Stefanski. I don't know if he had two interviews or one, but they signed him quick. So I don't know the details on the signing, but Stefanski, check him off the box. Same thing with Matt LaFleur. I was intrigued by, are the Packers gonna let him go? Anyways, check Matt LaFleur off the box. I thought he would be a good fit, but the Packers realized the value that they have with him. I think it was a smart move on their behalf to extend him. He's young, he's good. Green Bay wins, right? So extending him, that was smart for the on their behalf. Check him off. Check him off the list. He's out. Um, Raiders, have their second interview requested with Panthers DC. Iljiro Evero. Sorry, I don't hear his name enough, so I'm not familiar with his name, but I know who he is. He's a good young DC, and there's a reason why he's getting a second interview. We're also interviewing Jesse Minter for a second interview from the Chargers. Their DC. He has a second interview set for tomorrow. Sorry, a little raspy, a little stuffed up. I was right about Seattle. I mean, they put the whooping on the Niners. I said, they're gonna win if Sam Darnold played. I didn't think he would sit out with the oblique injury, right? Um, he played. They whooped the Niners. I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. I should have known though from the game a couple weeks ago when they played each other. But Seattle advances. I was right about Seattle. I was wrong about Denver, so I was 1-1 there. We're interviewing Buffalo's offensive coordinator Joe Brady. So that's coming up. I don't have a date, but he's a solid OC. Um, New England wins and the Bears lose. So I'm 1-1 there too with my picks last week. I expected New England to win. I thought it was going to be a tough fought battle, which it was. I expected the Bears to win just because of that weather. We were hearing about the weather being the coldest in history, of recent years. But they came close. And again, Ben Johnson, right? Ben Johnson helped take Caleb Williams to another level. And we've seen some passes from Caleb Williams that told us why he was the number one pick a couple years ago. Um, that's what happens when you get a good head coach. You change the culture, you bring out the best in guys, and man, the Bears look promising for the future. And I hate to see the Rams advance because I don't want to see Devontae win. but but the Rams advance. That was a both games are really hard fought games. So I was 1-1 there. So overall, I'm 2-2 with my picks last week. The Bills, not to my surprise, I mentioned this last week too that they're gonna fire Sean McDermott if they didn't win against Denver, which they did, lose to the point where um, Josh Allen was crying, and I think Sean McDermott's a good coach, but I'm not surprised the Bills move forward because this was their best chance to win. So I think now they're gonna try to build a new coaching staff around Josh Allen to help take them over the hump because I kind of we kind of knew, we saw the writing on the wall, right? McDermott's a great head coach, but if they couldn't get over the hump this time, that window's kind of closed. There's always like a 2-3 year window when you're hot, you got to win. So they didn't seal the deal again against you know against Denver. So McDermott's on the market. I think he's a great head coach. His regular season record 62-35. Not too shabby, right, Raider Nation? Also, I wonder because we're interviewing Buffalo's OC, that I wonder if we could get like a package, right? If we request to interview Sean McDermott, we interview him, the interview goes well. I wonder if the OC, Buffalo's OC would be open to coming back with Sean McDermott, as the head coach and OC for Vegas. That's something to pay attention to. Or is he only open to interviewing for head coach? Who knows? But we are interviewing. I mean, we're not officially interviewing McDermott yet. I think we should. I'm pretty sure we will. So pretty interesting that we'd be, interviewing two coaches from Buffalo. Um, the Raiders are interviewing Green Bay's DC Jeff Hafley on Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. I know, he's a hot coach on the market as well. The Raiders request to interview 49ers OC Clay Kobiak, that's Clint Kobiak's brother, for the head coaching job. That's another one to keep your eyes on. Um, and again, we have Indiana, Miami tonight. And I talked about it all last week, thinking it was on Monday, just because I was so excited for it. Well, it's finally here. And not only do we have the game, but we also have Mike McDaniel's interview, a few other interviews. I think this is week 3 of looking for our head coach. So I think after this game tonight, there's going to be a lot to talk about tomorrow. So, keep your eyes on the news. But Raider Nation, again, I thank you so much. Um, if you like the content, please, like, subscribe, leave comments. Thank you for all the love on Instagram, the love and follows. Raider Nation, this is why we do it. I encourage you to sign up for the Black Hole if you're not already a member. It really just keeps you in the know, keeps you in the loop. You'll be able to plan your Raider games and, plan events around it. You get discount on merchandise. So, blackhole.com. I encourage you to sign up. It's, Raider family. And everyone have a great rest of your Monday. Thanks again. Peace out, Raider Nation.